Hi YouTubers, it's me, Zipster. Well, I just spent the last 6.5 hours, that is right, 6.5 hours, at the funeral slash wake for my Auntie Virginia. Now, Virginia was 90 years old, she was blind, and quite frankly, she wasn't really with it anymore. She came over here to visit my parents at my home like maybe 2 years ago, and like every time I would leave the room, when I would walk back in the room, she would say, "Who's that man standing in your living room?" So yeah, she didn't know what was going on. She was ready. But the killer was, to go to this funeral, I had to drive back to the little town that I was born and raised in. Population maybe 500. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but it was a very small town. I mean, there were no African Americans lived there, no Jews, no Asians, and we had never even like heard of Hispanics. So that was just too exotic. So it was just the Catholics and the Protestants, and everybody was German. And I believe that is like where funnel cake was invented or something, which would explain why everybody there is so fat. But whatever. It was one of those towns. I got out of this like as soon as I realized where I was. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I took my little baby sister. She was like 4 or something. I took her out to the Acme supermarket. And, she's running around like little kids do in the store. And all of a sudden I hear her screaming from an aisle over, "There's a gorilla in here! There's a gorilla in here!" And she comes flying by me, and I turn the corner and I see one of the migrant workers, which is the only time black people ever came to town was to like pick the potatoes. One of the migrant workers is there doing their grocery shopping, and my sister had never seen an African American before, so she thought it was a gorilla. I wanted to just crawl in a hole and die. I was so embarrassed. But now you know the kind of, so you can imagine how well, I went over in that town. So I kind of kept to myself, and everybody just thought I was like the weird artsy kid. It was like, don't ask, don't tell. I'm just going to try to get, enough money so I can get the hell out of this town, and I promise I won't bother you again. That kind of thing. So I get up there, and the memories come pouring back. I remember when I got beat up on that corner, and I remember when I got kicked in the nuts on that corner, and I remember when I got taunted on that corner. It was just great. So I get to the funeral, and it's like, a lot of old people, like my aunts and uncles, and the only time I ever see these people is when there's a funeral, and they're happening more and more frequently. But the thing is, these people are like so old, they don't even remember that they saw me at, Uncle Lionel's funeral or whatever. So everybody, all day, they're coming up to me and there's, "And who are you?" And I say, "I'm your nephew, Zippy." "Oh my God, the last time I saw you, you were this big." And you don't even bother telling them, "Well, I saw you at Uncle Lionel's funeral 2 years ago," because they just totally don't remember. So it's like, well, yeah, I guess I grew a little since I was 8 years old. Enough about this. I just want to have a couple of beers and forget all about it. Just wanted to fill you in on my day, okay? Have a good one, YouTubers. Thank you!